There is a strange comfort in standing with the crowd. When many voices say the same thing, doubt becomes quieter. When an idea is repeated often enough, it begins to feel solid like a wall you can lean against. Popularity has a way of imitating truth. It borrows the language of certainty. It speaks loudly, confidently, without hesitation. And for a long time, most of us mistake that volume for validity. But then there are other moments. Quieter ones. Moments when something feels wrong even though everyone else seems convinced it's right. Moments when the loudest opinions leave a strange emptiness behind them. Moments when you realize that what is being repeated everywhere does not actually explain anything, it only fills the air. That's when a deeper sentence begins to form. Slowly, uncomfortably, truth is not measured by popularity. And falsehood is not defined by silence, and once you see that, it becomes impossible to unsee. We live in an age where being heard is mistaken for being right, where visibility is treated as credibility, where ideas compete not on accuracy or depth, but on how loudly and frequently they are repeated. Social platforms reward engagement, not reflection. Opinions are amplified, simplified, sharpened into slogans. Complexity is inconvenient. Silence is suspicious. From an early age, we are trained to associate numbers with legitimacy. More likes, more shares, more agreement, more approval. We are taught implicitly, relentlessly that if many people believe something, it must be true. And if few people defend an idea, it must be weak, outdated, or wrong. So we learn to follow the noise. We repeat what is trending. We echo what is safe. We hesitate to question what feels socially protected. Not because we are stupid, but because we are human. Because belonging feels safer than isolation. Because disagreement carries social cost. Because silence, in a loud world, is often mistaken for failure or fear. And slowly, without noticing, we outsource our judgment. Popularity is seductive because it removes responsibility. If everyone believes it, then believing it feels harmless. If everyone repeats it, then questioning it feels unnecessary. Popularity creates the illusion that truth has already been verified by the crowd. But crowds do not verify truth, they reinforce. Comfort. History is filled with moments where the majority was convinced and disastrously wrong. Ideas once celebrated that later became shameful. Practices once normalized that later became unforgivable. Popularity did not protect truth then, and it does not protect it now. Yet each generation believes it is different. That this time the crowd is informed. That this time consensus equals correctness, and still, truth remains indifferent to applause. Truth does not grow stronger because it is shared widely, and falsehood does not become weaker because it is ignored. Silence makes us uneasy. In a world addicted to commentary, silence feels like absence, like irrelevance, like weakness when someone does not defend themselves publicly. We assume guilt when an idea is not loudly promoted. We assume it lacks substance when a truth is spoken quietly or not at all. We assume it doesn't exist. But silence is not emptiness. Often, it is restraint. Some truths are quiet not because they are fragile, but because they are heavy. They do not travel well in slogans. They cannot be reduced without distortion. They require patience, context, and courage to face. And many people who hold these truths understand something the loud world does not. Not every truth survives being shouted. Once you begin to question popularity, life becomes lonelier, but also more honest. You notice how quickly people defend ideas they've never examined. How aggressively they protect opinions that give them identity. How uncomfortable they become when certainty is challenged. You realize that disagreement is rarely about truth. It is about belonging. To question the popular idea is to risk exclusion. To refuse to echo the noise is to risk misunderstanding. And to remain silent when everyone demands commentary is to invite suspicion. So most people speak even when they are unsure. They repeat even when they haven't thought. They choose noise over clarity. And the cycle continues. The turning point does not come with applause. It comes with discomfort. It comes the moment you realize that being aligned with the crowd does not guarantee peace. That repeating what is popular does not protect you from regret. That there is a quiet cost to abandoning your own perception. At some point, you notice that the loudest ideas change quickly. Yesterday's certainty becomes today's embarrassment. What was once defended with passion is later denied with equal intensity. Popularity moves on without apology, leaving behind those who confused it with truth, and suddenly, silence begins to look different. Silence becomes a refuge, a place to think, a space where ideas can exist without pressure to perform. You begin to understand that truth does not rush. It does not compete. It does not scream to be seen. It waits, sometimes patiently, sometimes painfully, for those willing to sit with it. Truth demands courage, not volume. It demands the courage to stand alone when necessary. The courage to admit uncertainty, the courage to say, "I don't know," instead of repeating something convenient. Truth does not promise popularity. In fact, it often guarantees resistance. Because truth disrupts comfort. It exposes contradictions. It forces people to confront things they would rather ignore. That is why truth is often quiet, not because it is weak, but because it does not beg. Truth is not measured by popularity. And falsehood is not defined by silence. The crowd is loud, but it is not wise by default. Silence is quiet, but it is not empty. What is popular may be right. What is quiet may be wrong, but volume alone tells you nothing. If you want to see clearly, you must learn to listen beyond noise, to separate repetition from reality, to resist the comfort of consensus when it conflicts with your conscience, because truth does not need to win every argument. It only needs to remain intact. So the next time you hear something repeated everywhere, pause, ask yourself, is this true or just familiar? Is this right or just popular? Is this loud or is it honest? And when you encounter silence, don't dismiss it too quickly. Some truths are waiting, not hiding. Learn to stand without the crowd. Learn to think without applause. Learn to respect quiet conviction, because in the end, truth does not ask to be followed. It asks to be recognized. And that recognition, even if it comes alone, is worth more than all the noise in the world.